Hello and welcome to this video. This is the one I'm going to talk to you about how I replace the number of lives with icons, and you can see them right there. So the first thing I did was I went into Photoshop and I just created four sort of basically sprites. And so I'll just show you those. And so I just called them lives here. So I just made a, I'll just double click on here. I just made a sprite sheet. I was going to open with Photoshop with three sort of icons, and then I sort of left room for a fourth one, which would be the empty one. So you got 3 lives, 2 lives, 1 life, and then no lives if required, okay, or when you have no lives. So I just made that in Photoshop, simply copying my original one, just created this, pretty simple. And then when I went into Unity, if you remember, set it up to multiple sprites, sprite editor, and then in that I just manually created the 4 boxes there, because this is also going to be a box here, just the empty one. And I kept them all sort of the same size there. All right, so basically that was it when I just sliced them all. In Unity itself, I created under the canvas here, I have a lives image. So I put that in, and let me just back up here. If I can find it, there it is. Okay, so I actually just put it over top of the text there. And I still have the number in there, I think. I don't think I got rid of that, but you can now that this works. And so just to show you that it does work, hit play here. Sorry, it zoomed out a little bit, but you can see that there's the icons there. If I die once, you can see it's down to 2, and if I die again, now it's down to 1, and then the last thing, okay, if I die once more, then it's 0. Okay, and I don't respawn. So how did I get that to work? Well, it wasn't too difficult. Like I said, you've got your lives images there, and all I did was I just simply threw one of them on there just to hold the position, okay, but it's called the lives image, and I just positioned in the top right. Now what I did was just think there, yeah, so I created a script, and I put that script on the camera, and what I did, let me just pull that up, on that script is basically referenced the game controller, and then so I could get the lives, and then I used an array to choose the picture. So we just and I did a little different here as well, so I'll explain that. So let me just zoom in. So first thing, created 3 images, or sorry, 3 variables. One of them is a public sprite. We've seen the sprite before, and you can see here I've got a sort of opening and closing square bracket. That indicates an array or a list or a series of, in this case, sprites that we're going to use, and so I called those my life sprites. One other thing, make sure you put that we're using the Unity engine.ui, and then I've got a public image, the life UI, okay, and so we're going to be able to set the life UI based on the life sprites, okay, the index value, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then we have to reference our game controller because we need the lives, and that's where our lives are. Now, I did something a little bit quicker this time, just to show you there's different ways of referencing the game controller, okay, script. So I did game controller equals GameObject.findObject with tag game controller, and then right away I just grabbed the game controller component. So remember before, if I make this bigger, we had all this stuff where it found the object and then so on. That's fine, we can keep with that, but this one's a little bit cleaner if you'd like to use it. This one doesn't tell you if it can't find it, so this one sort of acts as a bit of a a check here. Okay, so anyways, we have that, and then in our update is very simple. What it is we're going to set the life UI, right? So that's the image, specifically the sprite. we're going to set that to the life sprites, and then inside here is really the index, and it's going to relate to the current player lives. Okay, so game controller dot current player lives, and that could either be 3, 2, 1, or 0. And what that does is it allows us to pick the specific life sprite image that we want. Make a little bit more sense when we go into Unity here, because we'll see how that works. So, like I said, I put that script on the camera, and here it is here, Lives HUD, heads-up display. And so when it first came in, all it showed was the sprites, basically, okay, and it said size. So what I did was I set that to 4, because we have 3 lives plus no life, so that's 4 in total. Now this is important here. Element 0 is the no lives, okay, and that's because when it comes across 0 lives, it has to represent having 0 lives, and 1 life is going to be this, which is the image with just 1 life there. The image with 2 be the with 2 lives, okay, and then 3, that's the image with 3 lives. So those numbers are a little bit weird, and that's just simply because I sliced them, okay. In the life UI, you have to reference that. So that's the lives. Oops, that's the lives image. I just dragged it in. Okay, so let me just. Okay, let's just see. I don't know if I can actually see that here. I don't think it shows up. Oops, let me just see here. I don't know why it's playing so small at the moment either. Oh, I guess the scale, I moved the scale down accidentally. Yeah, it doesn't really show which image is being used. Let me just show you here. I can do a debug log. So if I put a debug log here, what I'm going to do is just put this in. And what you'll see is that it's basically just a number coming out, okay? So this should be happening all the time. And I'm not 100% happy that this is running all the time. I'd prefer not to have it running all the time, just to save some resources, but that's how I've got it set for the moment here. So if I look down in here, okay, so it shows it 0. So it's going to be setting the 0, 1, the live 0, and then when I get hit, then it goes to 1. Okay, I got hit again there, lives 2, and then so on, and then 3. Okay, so now they're all gone. So now that's showing lives 3 because that's element 0. Okay, if I just show you by the numbers here, so what I'm going to do actually is get rid of this. Right, this represents the numbers. So the first thing it will come across as 3, because we have 3 lives left. So really, it's just showing the lives. Right. So when I hit, there's 3, and so that's why it's showing image 3, the third one there. Okay, element 3, and then now it's going to show element 2, and it's going to show element 1, and then element 0. Okay. Now, one thing you might have noticed that would be a good idea, and I think that's what I'll do next, is get it so that if I die, as I get sort of reinstantiating, what I think I'm going to do is try to get a blink going for a certain amount of time, and in that way the collision is not operating, so you don't die before you have a chance sort of to move around a little bit. So I'm going to see if I can do that next, and I might just leave it for you to mess around with the rest of it after that. So this might be the penultimate video with one more for you to chew on there. All right, so we'll end this one here, and we'll see you in the next video.